Hey, here we are again, and it's been a while. Where do I want to start? Well, first, thank you for hanging in there with me while I've been away. I just started pushing out videos, but this one is to give insight of what was happening, why I haven't been on since actually my birthday and up to today, which is like August 3rd. I have been moving through grief and um, I'm still in it, but during the time that I've been away, I just been moving through grief, and it really hit in the last month. And interesting enough, I feel like grief visits me quite frequently. So today, I wanted to offer something about grief and gratitude. As you saw me laying and grounding, it's because that's how I've been moving through some of it in different ways. More specifically, I wanted to talk about what I'm learning about the way I grieve. I've experienced some recent losses that are deeply connected to who I am, to my development as a therapist, to my development as a woman, and to the way I understand myself in relationship to other people. While I was sitting with, newer grief of losing my mentor, that loss began to pull forward other grief that I had not yet had the opportunity or perhaps the space to fully process and understand, and just honor the other losses that I've had for in some years. One loss began, and then several other ones start popping up, right? And that is one of the things I have learned about myself in reference to grief. Postpone its arrival in my body. My body knows how to hold things very well. Whether we call it survival, self-preservation, responsibility, or simply being required to continue functioning, my body has been trained to hold an experience until there is enough time and space for me to feel it. Sometimes I have to intentionally tell myself I got to grieve, like it has to happen now. Other times the grief begins to move because I finally have enough time alone with myself to be with what I have lost. And I've had the opportunity this past month to be more still than I have. I made space during the past couple of weeks to grieve and for it to surface itself. So that looks like crying and anger and heaviness and heart palpitations and moments that felt like small waves of panic. Those sensations helped me to recognize that I was not just grieving one loss, that my nervous system was responding to a compounded grief that my body had been carrying. And because I experienced life through my body, and I'll say more about that because that sounds pretty broad, but I also experienced grief through my body. So I do not experience people. Well, let's talk about how I experience people. So I experience people, relationships, music, movement, conversation, illness, love, memory, not just intellectually. I experience it through my sensations and how I participate, my sensory system, right? We'll say more about that. So I remember music. I remember dinners. I remember conversations. I remember the sound of someone's voice and how they move. I remember being close enough to care for someone when they are sick. I remember the ache that comes from loving deeply. The memories live not only in what I can explain, but in how my body participated in the relationship. I absorb it and pocket it, right, in my body. But we'll keep talking about that later on. But that is important for you all to know and for me to know. The way I often grieve is to connect, and the way I attach and participate and belong. So when that person, place, or role or way of living is no longer physically present, my body has to find its way through the grief, not just make sense of it in my mind. I often have to return through the same doorway I entered. I connect through my body, so I must also grieve through my body. I have to allow the sensations to move. I have to cry. I may need music and movement and prayer and silence and rest, remembering or having conversations. And then as my body begins to release some of what has been holding, I can begin to put language around that experience. Then I can reflect. Then I can understand. Then I can make meaning. Then I can decide how I want to carry the memory forward. This is why I believe one of the most important questions we can ask ourselves is, how do I grieve? Just so that you can honor it the way that you need to. Not, I am grieving correctly, right? Not, should I be over this by now? But the key is, how did I attach to the person, the place, or thing? How did I participate? Like, how do I engage? Where does this relationship or experience live in my body? What does my body need in order to acknowledge that something has changed? Grief is not only orderly, it's not a one orderly cycle that everyone completes in the same way. That's just not a thing. Like, we all will move through the grief cycle differently. We may experience disbelief, right? And anger and yearning and sadness and acceptance and relief and gratitude, or even moments of joy. We move among those experiences repeatedly, not just one time. And grief is not limited to death. We grieve people, places, relationships, marriages, homes, identities, opportunities, roles, dreams, different versions of ourselves. But anytime we are required to release something that mattered to us, there may be a grief. The intensity will not always be the same. Some losses arrive with devastations, others arrive as a quiet longing, an unexpected memory, or the recognition that something will never return in the form that we once knew it. But every person's process is authentic to them and how they lived, how they loved, how they attached and participated. For me, connection is deeply sensory and relational. I attune. I notice things that most people don't want me to see. I feel things that most people don't believe that I feel. I can lock arms with someone and move into an experience with them as if I'm right in step with them. My body, when it comes to it takes in relationship through presence and rhythm and gestures, conversation, touch, sound, shared experiences. No, I don't merge into them, but I'm definitely in sync in that particular way. Relationships that we participate in becomes part of our rhythm. They influence how we move, how we organize our days, how we understand belonging, and how our bodies anticipate connection. When a person or a relationship is no longer present in the same way, the rhythm do change, regardless if we want to avoid or pretend like rhythms in our lives change. Grief is not only the emotional recognition of loss, it can also be the body learning how to participate in life after a familiar rhythm has been disrupted. Our posture may change, gestures may change, our cadence of our day may change. The way we reach and we rest and we speak and we eat and we sleep and we pray, move or seek connection also change. And slowly we begin to organize or engage around in a new reality. Like, what is this new space and reality we're in? That does not mean we forget. It means we are learning how to continue to participating, continue to engage while carrying what mattered. This past month has been a part of that process for me, and I needed time to let my body move what it had been holding. I needed time to learn more about myself, my attachments, my memories, and my nervous system. And now at 55, I'm honoring what I am learning. I am honoring the woman I have become. I am honoring the depth which I love and connect. I am honoring that my grief may require time, privacy, movement, memory, prayer, and space. And even grounding, like what you just see me doing, like just laying out in nature, allowing my feet to be planted, right? Alongside grief, I am also finding gratitude. Gratitude for new relationships. Gratitude for relationships that have changed forms, meaning they're not the way that they used to, right? I'm grateful for that. Gratitude for what I receive from the people I am mourning. Gratitude for memories that remain available to me. And gratitude that someone who was suffering is no longer suffering. For those who are no longer physically here, I welcome them into my ancestral space. I honor their movement into another phase of existence as spiritual beings who had human experiences. Gratitude does not erase my grief or your grief. It does not ask us to rush towards a positive interpretation of what happened. Gratitude can sit beside the grief. It allows me to say, this hurts because it mattered. I miss you because I love you. I am changed because I participated, I engaged in life with you. And now I must discover how to carry that love within a different rhythm. That is where I am today. Grieving, remembering, giving thanks, and finding a new rhythm, a new way of being in this new person I'm discovering. So I invite you to consider, how do you grieve? How do you participate in what you lost? Where does the memory live in your body? What have you been holding because there has not been enough time or space to release it? What rhythm has been interrupted in your life? And what support do you need, or supports do you need? Because you can need multiple. It may not just be one way. But what do you need as you begin to organize yourself around what is now true? Be gentle with yourself. Give your body time. breathe into the pain and allow the grief and gratitude to sit together without requiring one to cancel out the other. And remember, although grief is deeply personal, we were never meant to carry all of it alone. We need each other.